Half my brain tied behind my back just to make it fair. Rush Limbaugh emitting vocal vibrations in dulcet tones. Coast to coast, left to right, north and south, border to border. No matter who's crossing it, illegally or not. Back to the audio sound bites. Barney Frank, after saying that we should all be grateful for a well-funded government. That was his first take. Asked for his impressions on the response in Boston, Barney Frank told everybody that we need to be grateful for a well-funded government, and we need to stop criticizing government people and their pensions and their health care. He said this.
We're not asking people, well, do you have private health insurance or not? Do you afford this or not? Maybe the government's going to have to pay for it. And this is an example of why we need, if we want to be a civilized people, to put some of our resources into a common pool so we are able to deal with this. So, on the whole, I would say this is a terrible day for our society, but a day when I hope people will understand the centrality of having a government in place with the resources. At a time like this, no one thinks about saving pennies.
I sit here and I marvel. This guy is living in a real panic over the thought that his precious government might be reduced. And so over 150 people are injured. Some people died. The Boston Marathon. And Barney Frank asked for his impressions, starts worrying about tax cuts and making sure that people realize we're going to have to put our resources into a common pool so we were able to deal with this, and that people understand the centrality of having a government in place with resources. Say, anybody want to talk about maybe stopping this kind of stuff from happening? As we used to be able to do. Times Square bomber didn't succeed. The shoe bomber didn't succeed. There are a number of attempts that failed. This one didn't. Barney Frank also said, by the way, get this. He said, I'm saying that if the sequester had gone through and we had not had enough money, we couldn't be able to do this. I'm making an argument about reality. And that's the only responsible response. Well, but the sequester did go through. And we still had a response. We still had minuscule budget cuts. That's what he's worried about. If the sequester had gone through and we had not had enough money, we couldn't be able to do this. No amount of money or lack of it was going to stop this response from taking place yesterday. So Barney Frank takes the occasion of this bombing to once again make his pitch for more government spending, more government growth, as they do indeed politicize everything on the left. You know, folks, about Barney Frank and his unbelievable comments, big federal government redistributing wealth through class warfare has nothing to do with protecting people from terrorists and criminals. Zip. Zero. Nada. But I would think most sane people would view this terror attack as a failure of the federal government, not a success. Barney Frank looks at this as a success, a successful example of the federal government. Really. That's his takeaway, folks. Don't doubt me.